Hi everyone, welcome back again to the channel. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful shift dress. And as you can see, the shift dress comes with a placket design, a stylish one, and several other designs on the dress. So today we'll be learning how to cut and sew this dress. If this sounds like something you're interested in learning, do well to stay to the end of today's tutorial. So right here, I have the fabric which I'll be working with. So right here I have my doll face satin, and then I also have the interfacing which I'll be making use of. In this case I used paper stay, and then I have two different Ankara fabric that I will be working with as well. For this particular dress, I made use of 4 yards of Ankara fabric. So the first thing I did was to fold my fabric into two, and then I made use of the hip measurement in folding this. That's the hip divided by 4, and then I added extra 2 inches to what I have as my hip divided by 4. So that was what I used in folding this fabric. Next, I will mark my starting point line. So this line is going to serve as my starting point line. And then from that line, I would take the full length of my dress. So from the shoulder to the floor length, in this case, I'm working with length 57. I added extra 2 inches for the hemming allowance, which makes it 59 in total. So this is exactly what I marked at this point. And then I'll go ahead to cut out the folded fabric starting from the length of the dress, and then I'll cut through to the top. So right now I'm done cutting the fabric, and the next thing to do is to mark out my points. And first I'll mark the chest line, and then I'll proceed to taking the waistline measurement as well. That's the half length. And then I'll mark the hip line as well. So the next line which I'll be marking is the nail, and from the original nail I came up by 4 inches. So on that 4 inches line which I came up from the original nail, I'll go ahead and mark as my nail line. Right now, I'll get my straight ruler and then unroll all the lines which I just marked. So I'll rule it like that. Now on the starting line, I'll go ahead and mark the shoulder divided by 2, and then I'll repeat the same thing on the chest line, and then connect the 2 points together with the straight ruler. For the shoulder slope, I came down by 1 inch, and for the neck, I'll be marking 3 inches as well. So I'll connect these 2 points together with the straight ruler as well. Now from the shoulder slope to the chest line, I will get the midpoint and then go in by half an inch on the midpoint. And on the chest line, I'll be marking the bust measurement divided by 4, and also add up 1.5 inches as the seam allowance and also the ease allowance for this dress. So I'll go ahead now and connect the shoulder slope to the mid armhole and also to the bust measurement on the chest line. So right now, the armhole which I have here is the front armhole, but I want you to note that I will also be marking the back armhole on this fabric. So I'll be connecting from the 1 inch shoulder slope to the mid armhole, and then I would also connect to the bust measurement that we have on the chest line. So I'll go ahead now and mark out the back armhole. So as you can see, we have both the front and the back armhole on this fabric. The next thing I'll be doing is to take the back neck, which is 1 inch for the depth. Remember that the width we used here is 3 inches. So we have 3 inches width by 1 inch depth for the back. So now I'll be taking the waist measurement divided by 4 on the waistline and then mark it, and also add up 2 inches on the side. These 2 inches will serve as the seam allowance and also the ease allowance on this shift dress. On the hip line, I'll take the hip divided by 4 and add up 2 inches to the side for the seam allowance and also the ease allowance. Now I'll go ahead and connect the points together. That's the bust to the waist, and then connect the waist to the hip as well. Now, whatever I have on the hip line, I'll go ahead and check what I have on the hip line, and then I'll deduct 1.5 inches from whatever I have there, and that is exactly what I'll be marking on the nail line. So whatever I have on the hip line, I'll deduct 1.5 and mark on the nail line, and also extend that same measurement to the hem of the dress. So I've gone ahead to extend it. Now I'll connect the hip to the nail, and then I'll also connect from the nail line to the hem of the dress. Now I'm done shaping the sides. The next thing I'll do is to work on the neck line for the front. So what I'll be doing is on the half length, I'll go up by 1 inch, And on that 1 inch line, I'll go in by 1.25. So you can either go in by 1 inch or 1.25. So right here, from the starting line, that is the line we initially marked, from that line, I'll go down by 9 inches. Now, that 9 inches is the chest line, but then I'll go down by 9 inches, and then on that 9 inches line I'll also go in by 1.25. So I'll go ahead and mark my 1.25 like so. Now I'll connect from the 1.25 to the 3 inches neck width that we have right there. I'll connect it like so, and then also from that 1.25 that we have on the 9 inches we came down, I would also connect it to the one we have 1 inch above the half length. So this is how I marked out the neckline for the front. So that is for the front, and the 3 by 1 inches is for the back. We also have the armhole for the front and also the armhole for the back. So right now I'll go ahead to cut out the back first. So I've cut through the sides as you can see, and then for the armhole, I'll cut the back armhole first. You can see exactly what I'm doing there. I'll cut the back armhole first, and then I'll also be cutting out the back neckline first. So I take out the back neckline like so, and then cut it out, and this is what we have. So now I'll go ahead and fold the fabric for the back, and then I'll place my front on it like this. So here I have the fabric for the back folded into two, and then from the top of this fabric to the hem, I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch like so. After marking, I will also go ahead to connect the 1 inch which I marked from the top to the hem, and once that is done, I'll place the front back on the folded fabric like this. So I will ensure that the fabric is sitting on the 1 inch line which I marked. So I would ensure that it's sitting right on that 1 inch line. And once that is done, I'll just go ahead and trace out the major lines. That's the waistline, the hip line, and then the knee line. I will trace it out on the side and also at the center back right there. So this is exactly what I did. Next, on the half length, which is the waistline, I'll go in by 1 inch. That is for the back tightening. I'll go in by 1 inch, and then I'll connect from that 1 inch to the neck with my straight ruler. Now I'll go ahead and replace the 1 inch on the side, that is on the waistline on the side. I'll go ahead and mark the 1 inch, and also check what was taken out while we were doing the back tightening on the chest line, and then I'll replace it as well on the chest line on the side. So I'll connect now the 2 points together. That is the one which I just replaced on the side on the chest line. I'll connect it to the waist. Now, from the 1 inch back tightening that we have at the center back, I'll connect it from that point to the hip line. So I'll go ahead and connect it like so. And because nothing was taken out of the hip line at the center back, I'll then connect from the waistline. That's the 1 inch which we replaced on the waistline at the side. I'll connect it directly to exactly where we have the hip for the front. So both the hip for the front and the back matches up together. Nothing was replaced there. Now on the nail, I'll also go in by 1 inch and then mark it, and I'll be connecting it from the nail line. I'll connect it straight to the hip line. I'll go ahead and also replace what we have taken out at the center back on the nail. I'll replace the 1 inch on the side and then connect it back to the hip. So I'll go ahead and do this right now. And then finally, I will extend the 1 inch that we have coming from the side, that is on the knee line. I will extend it to the hem line. So I'll go ahead to connect with my straight ruler. So now it's time to cut out our fabric. I'll go ahead and follow through all the lines that we have marked at the center back, and then I'll cut through those lines. And then I'll also cut through the side that we have there for the back. And once I get to the armhole area, I'll cut through the back armhole as well, just what we have initially. I'll cut through the back armhole, and I'll also cut through the back neckline. So this is exactly what I am doing here. And finally, I'll cut through the shoulder line like so. So now that we have successfully cut out the back, so now that we have successfully cut out the back, I'll go ahead now and cut out the front armhole. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. I'll take out the front armhole, follow through that line, and then cut through to the shoulder slope like so. For the front neck as well, I would cut through that line. That's the 1 inch, starting from the 1 inch we came up at the waistline, and then I'll cut through the lines that we have marked there, ensuring that I raise the fabric for the front. I raise it up and then I cut through like so. So this is exactly what we have. I've cut out the front and the back right now. So this is what we have for the front, and I'll open it up now so we see what the front neck looks like. So this is exactly what it looks like after cutting through the lines that we marked. Now I'll go ahead and take the measurement of the neckline, that is for the front. So I'll follow through that line, that cutout that we have there, and then I'll take the measurement right there, stopping at the points where we have the cut. So I've gone ahead to cut my fabric, that is the second fabric which I'll be using for this dress. I've gone ahead to cut it, and I made it some inches longer than what I actually measured. So you can see that it's quite long. So it's better for you to have a longer length than having it short. So what I have here as the width of this fabric is 2 inches. So what I'll be doing with this fabric, you can see that the fabric is folded. I'll go ahead and place the fabric on the neckline exactly the way we cut out that neck. I'll place it like so, following through that line. I will take it from the shoulder slope down to where we have the cutouts for the neck. So I'll just place it, ensuring that the tip of this folded fabric, that's the folded fabric, and the main fabric matches up together. So when stitching, I'll stitch on half an inch, but then I'll not get to the end. I'll stop like half an inch before the end, before that tip I'm pointing to. I'll stop at half an inch above that line. So I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll also stitch it down on half an inch, and then I'll show you what we have. So right here, I'm done stitching this fabric to the neck, and you can see the part that we have the excess towards the shoulder. We have that excess there. So I'll go ahead and take out the excess fabric that we have on the shoulder part. So I'll take it out on both sides. Now the next thing I would do is to get the width measurement of what we have right there at the neckline. That is exactly where I'm placing the tape rule from the folded end of that Ankara fabric we just attached to the other folded end of the Ankara fabric. So whatever I have there, I would add up extra 1 inch to the value that I got. So this 1 inch will just serve as the sewing allowance for the fabric. So right here, I've cut out my fabric, adding up the 1 inch, and this fabric will be stitched on half an inch on both sides. The fabric is actually on fold and it is 2 inches wide. So here I've stitched the fabric on half an inch on both sides, and then I'm turning it inside out, exactly what you see there, pushing in the rough edges inside. So right here I have the fabric, and what I'll be doing is to raise this up. Remember that I said you shouldn't stitch up to the point where we have the cutout. You have to leave about half an inch before that very point. So at this point, this is the fabric that we just cut out and stitched. I'll go ahead and place this fabric exactly on that point, and then I'll be inserting the very first one we stitched. I'll insert it inside of this that we just placed. I'll insert it like so. And then I did the same thing on the other side. I inserted that as well. So the Ankara fabric that we initially stitched is actually inside of this one that I just placed. So what I would do next, after properly arranging the Ankara fabric, just as I explained, I'll go ahead and give a straight notch on both sides, just like so. I'll give about 0.5, half an inch notch on both sides of this Ankara neckline. I'll notch it like so, so you can see. So after notching, I'll fold in, you can see that part that we notched, you can see it's already on its own. So this other side, I'll fold it in half an inch. Remember that we notched half an inch, so I'll just fold in half an inch on that part, folding in the rough edges carefully, and then I would just take my time to carefully fold it in, and also be placing the Ankara fabric inside of it back, and I will secure it down with my pins. So what I'm doing here is just to fold in that half an inch that we have there. So right now I've folded it, and then this is what we have. So I'll go ahead and secure it with my pin, and also repeat the same thing on the other side of the fabric. So right here I'm going to secure it down with my pin. So once I'm done folding, I'll take it to the sewing machine and stitch on that part which I folded in just now. Only on that part which I folded in, and this is it. I've gone ahead to stitch on that part. So we have the half an inch. You can see that part that we notched is on its own, and then we have also stitched on the sides. So right now I'll put this aside. So here we have the back. And so for the back, the first thing I would do is to get my zipper and then check out the length of my zipper on the dress. So wherever the zipper gets to, I'm just going to mark it with my chalk. I will note that point. So right now, from the point where the zipper ends, I'll go up by 1.5 inches and then begin to mark 1 inch. So I'll begin to mark 1 inch at the center back. From that point, I'll take it through to the hem of the dress. So remember that we added 1 inch to the center back area. So this is the exact 1 inch which I am marking here. And so I actually followed through the curve that we have at the center back, that butt shaping. I followed through that part, and then I'll take it through to the hem. So I'll just mark it down. So on this 1 inch which I just marked at the center back, this is the exact line which I will follow through to sew the two back piece together. So I'll follow it through like so, and then sew it on 1 inch like so. So I'll take it to the sewing machine now and do just that. So this is what we have after stitching. You can see that I've gone ahead to stitch the back, and we have the zipper part still opened. So the next thing I will do is to attach the zipper, and I'll follow through the 1 inch that we have for the back. So I'm going to sew this zipper on exactly 1 inch at the center back. So if you know you have issues maintaining your 1 inch, just get your tape rule and then carefully check out the 1 inch like this. Just place your tape rule, check it out. Once you get the 1 inch, pin down your zipper to the fabric like so. So do this from the tip, from the top, that's the neckline, to the point where the zipper is going to end. And here I have my zipper attached to the dress already. You can see it. So next I'll place the back on the front. Yeah, I'll place it on the front like this, and then I'll stitch it down on the shoulder. And and here is it after stitching the shoulder for the back and the front together. So the next thing I would do is to take the measurement that I have from the neckline. I'll take it through like so, and then I'll actually stop or end that measurement at the center back where the zipper ends. So whatever I have there, I'll go ahead and cut out my fabric. So you know that this part is into two. So whatever that gives me, I'll multiply it by 2 to cut out my fabric. So here I have the long strip of the fabric which I'll be using for the neck, and then I have the exact length which I need, plus extra like 4 inches added to it. So the 4 inches is just for security reasons. So the wideness of this fabric is about 5 inches as well. And I also pressed it so that I can get the center line. I folded it into two. That's the 5 inches was folded into two. That's 2.5 inches. And then I pressed it to get the center line. So now from that joining that I have there, so from that joining, I'll make that joining the center back. So from that point, I'll come down by 14 inches and then I'll mark it. And then from that 14 inches mark, following through that crease line that we have there, I'll stitch it down like so. Exactly how I marked that chalk, I'll stitch it down. So you can see I'm trying to confirm the center, so I'll just stitch it like so. I'll take it to the sewing machine now and do that. So right now I've stitched this together, so I'll just fold it back. So I'll follow through that line, that crease line that I already created on the fabric, and then I'll fold it like so. So you can see exactly how the placket is being folded. So now that it's folded, I'll take it to the ironing table and then give it a very good press. So now we'll be attaching the placket to the dress. So I would just take out the excess that we have from the zipper. I would zip it down and then take out that excess that we have there. So after taking it out, I'll close up the zip again like so, and then get the placket. That joining that we have there is the center back. You can see the pin on it. So that point will actually rest on the zipper. So I would ensure that that joining rests on the zipper because the zipper is also the center back. So I'll pin the placket down at the back on both sides of the zipper. So I'll secure it down with my pins like so. So right now, from the center back, I'll take it to the sewing machine now. From the center back, I'm going to stitch it down from the center back on both sides, following through the shape of the neckline. So this is exactly what we have. I've gone ahead to stitch it down. So this is what we have. You can see the center back is also closed and our zipper is right there. So the zipper is not affected. You can see it there. It is not affected. So I will turn it over now to the wrong side, and then and on that wrong side I'll create a notch. Like this time is going to be slanted, not straight. This notch will be slanted, so I'll give a slanted notch on both sides of the fabric. I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side like so. So after creating that notch, I'll flip it over to the right side and then I'll push in the placket. The leftover, the excess that we have there, I'll push it in like so. So you carefully do this. I'll push it in, and once I am okay with what I have there and the placket is laying well, I'll then flip it up like this. You can see the excess that we have there, and then I would hold this part down with my pins and take it to the sewing machine, and then I'll stitch down the Ankara fabric like so together with the plackets. I'll stitch it down together like so. So after stitching, this is what it should look like on the front part. You can see that this is what it should look like on the front part. So you need to work with your pins at this point. I'm trying to insert the placket properly so that it would lay well. So I'll take it to the sewing machine like I said and then stitch it down. So after attaching the placket, the next thing I'll do is to close the sides of the dress. So for this dress, I'll be using 0.75 inches to close up the sides of the dress. So the remaining inches that we have from the allowance that we added will serve as the ease allowance for the dress. So I'll go ahead and lay it properly and then stitch it on the sides. After I'm done stitching the sides, so this is what I have after I'm done stitching the sides. So now we'll be working on the design on the side, and to do this I would go ahead and from the opening on the side. So this opening actually ends on the nail. That's the 4 inches that I came up on the nail line. That is where the opening ends. So from that point, that's where we have the opening. I'll take the measurements that I have there, and whatever I have there, for these I have about 24 inches as the opening. And so I've gone ahead to cut out strips of fabric which I'll be using for that part. And so remember I said I measured 24, so this fabric is actually longer than 24 inches. So, and the wideness I have here is about 4.5 inches. I cut out 5 inches and then I folded in half an inch on a side, and what I have left is 4.5 inches. So right now I will turn my fabric over to the right side, and so I'll go ahead and match up the fabric right side to wrong side of the Ankara fabric, and then I'll stitch it from the hem. And once I get to the part where we have the joining, where that joining is, I will notch it. And once I notch it, I will flip it over like so to the other side. And this is what it should look like. And I'll go ahead, give it a good press. Once that is done, I would then stitch down this fabric. So this is exactly what I'll be doing on the sewing machine. Stitch down the sides. I've gone ahead to do that. You can see what we have on both sides. I've gone ahead to stitch down. So I'll go ahead and mark out the points where I want the pocket to sit. That is, this is the exact point which I am marking. And this is the pocket which I'll be attaching to the side. The pocket is about 9 inches wide and about 10.5 inches in length. So I will get the midpoint of the pocket, and then the midpoint will actually rest on the side seam that we have there. So I'll place it like so, and then lay it properly, pin it down, and take it to the sewing machine to stitch down the pocket to the side. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. And for this dress, I'll be attaching the normal basic sleeve because that is what the client wants. So guys, thank you all for watching today's tutorial, especially you who has watched to this very point. Thank you for watching, and thank you for showing your love and your support. Don't forget to hit on the like button. I'll see you all in my next tutorial. Bye.